The Best Endgames of the World Champion. This is Volume 1 from Steinitz to Tal by JBV Chess Books, written by Carsten Müller, one of the world authorities for what regards the endgame. I love Carsten Müller books because they make use of the latest technology. You see this QR code. This QR code can be scanned by your phone and you will be brought to the position or to the game. But it's not finished. It doesn't want only to give you some endgames and the love for the endgame, because Grandmaster Müller is clearly in love with the endgame. He also gives you some exercises that you can learn from. And notice, of course, there are a description of each of the world champions, so an introduction, so you can learn also about that. It's definitely worth it just for that. But in some exercises, he asks you a question. And sometimes the question is more interesting than just try to mechanically solve exercise after exercise, because it's going to give you something to think upon. You start to evaluate the position, think like, if I was in this position in a tournament game, what would I do? The book is full, so it's really something that you should consider having, because let's say you don't love endgames, but you want to learn them through practice. This is the way to do it. Okay? So it's a great book, and now I will show you one of the positions that I found interesting. Remember, it's made on 2 volumes because it covers also the most modern world champions. So the position I'm going to show you is this Walter John versus Alexander Alekhine. Probably you can scan with your phone also from here, maybe, I don't know. Why I want to show you this position? Because I think rook endgames, rook and pawn endgames are fundamental for learning chess, for reaching master level player. Here it says, after white had just played rook h3, f3, so the rook was here and he went here, a mistake. The correct move would have been f6. And it shows why. Okay, here it gives you some lines. I don't, because I think you need to, 1, do your exercise so you learn. 2, in case you don't know if your line is right or wrong, then you buy the book and you will see it. That will generally generate interest in yourself in learning these endgames. Look, few pieces, and yet it's so important. Okay, so he played rook f3. Alekhine only had to prove that this was not a tolerable inaccuracy but a deadly mistake. What do you think Alekhine, that is black, played at this point? Notice this pawn is going in this direction and this is going in this direction, okay? Alekhine played c3, and this immediately gives a decisive advantage to black. White continued with rook f2, but please, here it's shown why f6 is not gonna work, so you can do your own analysis and then check with the book, okay? So rook f2, king d3, rook f3, king d4. It seems that here Alekhine didn't do the right move either. It was better to play this right away, okay? So we see that also for a world champion, it can be difficult to find the right move. Today we have engines. An engine probably in this kind of position has already calculated all the possible moves. f6, c2, f7, and here we have an exercise 1. No? Where it tells you, and this is very interesting, I always will cover the thing, but it tells you exercise 1, okay? It gives you a diagram and you can stop and say, How is the resulting position to be assessed, and which rule of thumb applies here? The solution is on page 119. Again, it's great that you can have this kind of exercise. So after f7, we have c1 queen and f8 queen. Black continues with queen d2 check. And here it's interesting because white played another blunder, a kind of inaccuracy, rook f2. After this he loses for a mating attack. It seems the best move was king g3. Again, if you read the book, you will know why. Notice that it's kind of interesting because Grandmaster Mueller here says that in 1978 Grandmaster Walter Brown wasn't able to win a computer playing an endgame of queen versus rook. So in 1978, that's kind of interesting, right? And it gives the thing. There is at a certain point a Philidor position in this endgame where black wins by force, and you need to know it. Again, because imagine you end up in this endgame, you end up of a queen against a rook, and you are not able to win. Honestly, it happened also to me, but I was the rook side, and my opponent wasn't able to win. So after 50 moves, I called the arbiter and declared draw. So after rook f2, black played king g5, king h3, king h5, king g3, and rook g5. And this is the end. Practically white lost. What would happen, for example, if he would have played instead of king here, he would have still got check, and after this, can you see the final move? The final move is queen d1, checkmate. Now I went back to the final position that is here. Clearly, there is still one move, okay? He can play this. But what would you play in this position? Because if you play this move, you're losing, okay? So you have to find the right move, which is this one, okay? Queen g4. So I hope that I show you all this endgame. There are many other endgames that are very, very interesting and that I think you should enjoy. This is a book, clearly, that one should have and just to enjoy, you know. You can even watch it with your phone, thanks to the fact that there are all these QR codes that you can use, okay? You have all these QR codes and you can use them to see the position on your phone. So it's amazing. Thank you very much.